What is this video? Well, if it's okay with you, this is going to be a Q&A video where I answer questions that you ask me. I'm going to read them from my phone, like everyone else. Kay asked me, what are a few of your favorite 80s tunes, assuming the 80s is the only genre qualified as music? You are correct. If I had to pick a song that, like, every time I heard it I got excited, it would probably be I Want My MTV by Dire Straits. Like, no matter where I am, I just stop everything and I listen to it. Amber asked, how do you manage to always have the cutest hair ever? My secret to really good haircuts is pictures. I just steal pictures of other people who have really good haircuts and then I show them to my hairdresser and she does it really goodly. If you fart in the woods and nobody is around to hear it, what's the problem? Well, Scott, it sounds like you have a flatulence problem. Can you list your top 5 movies from the 80s or taking place in the 80s? I can, I know this one. Adventures in Babysitting, The Goonies, Back to the Future, Pretty in Pink, and of course, Mannequin. My friend Anna asked me, what is your YouTube goal and your favorite YouTuber right now? I don't have any YouTube goals. I guess I'll just know when I get there, which is basically my life philosophy. You know, just go with the flow. Your Kitty 2010 asks, what animal do you relate to the most and what is your zodiac sign? An owl, because I'm a hoot, and my zodiac sign is a Pisces. I thought if I did that it would turn into one of those like online dating commercials and with like a voiceover and the cool music, and it didn't work out that way. Minor Vadetta has 3 questions for me. Someone's trying to hog this video. Are there any videos on your channel that you regret posting? Yes, and it's since been made private. I don't even want to talk about it. What is the most you've spent on a piece of clothing and was it worth it? I had a jacket that I really wanted for years. I've wanted it. And so this winter, I bought it from Forever 21, $50. I like saved up all my money for this one jacket, and then I got it and it didn't fit. And I couldn't return it because it was a final sale item. Like, in what universe is $50 a sale item? But it worked out because I was able to sell it on Poshmark, and then also on Poshmark I was able to buy the correct size from somebody else that had it, so it was just a good ending. Lesson learned, I will never buy something from a not thrift store again. If you had to choose a favorite band or music artist, who would it be? It would be Billy Joel! I feel like it would have been really perfect had he walked out at that exact moment. Thanks for nothing, Billy Joel. A question from a person who I don't want to butcher their name asks, what is something you would like to learn and what's your favorite book, and do you know the Netherlands? Well, I want to learn everything. I like to consider myself like a student of life, just forever learning. I don't have a favorite book, and my knowledge on the Netherlands is pretty minimal, so there's something I want to learn more about. Autumn has a question in 2 parts. First one, what is your current job? I don't work in the traditional sense, like I don't work outside the home or anything, but I do put a lot of work into my YouTube channel, into my blog, and in running my Etsy shop. I sell vintage 1980s stuff. And I know people are like, is the internet work or is it not work? The way I see it, if you put work into it, you treat it like work, you treat it like a business, you take it seriously, and you make an income from it, it's work. I just really wanted to make that distinction because I know there's a lot of misunderstanding about what people do when they work from home. So that's my views on it. But on a lighter note, your other question is, if you could move somewhere in the US, where would it be? I don't have a specific place in mind, but I know that I want to live somewhere that's bigger than my small town that I live in, but smaller than New York. Somewhere in between. Jen, who lived through the 80s herself, asked me what are some of my favorite TV shows that started in the 80s. It'd have to be Alf, Pee-wee's Playhouse, and The Golden Girls. I'm a Rose. Jen wants to know if I know, how did teens have fun in the 80s prior to the internet? Well, from what movies and magazines have taught me, it's they would hang out at the mall, or they would start war games on their computer like Matthew Broderick in the movie War Games. Am I close? Vintage Believer asks, what is life outside of thrifting? What do you do for fun? How do you relax? I guess life is pretty regular with and without thrifting. I mean, when you think about it, thrifting is just shopping, so if you just never went shopping your whole life, what would life be like? But things I do for fun, I love to craft. I am a board game junkie. I like reading fashion magazines and non-fiction books from the library. Hunting Bigfoot, playing video games, just really regular stuff. Oh, I like Elsie's question. She asked me which Molly Ringwald would I most identify with. I would have to be Andy from Pretty in Pink, because we're both from the wrong side of the tracks, but for very different reasons. I just happen to live next to a railroad track, so we kind of have our differences. Gula Gra asked, do you have another job besides YouTube? Yes, I am a Heidi Klum body double on the weekends. Kimberly wrote, what are you listening to and reading right now? I am totally obsessed with Justin Timberlake's new song, Can't Stop This Feeling. I feel like even if the Troll movie sucks, at least we got that song. And I'm reading a lot of things, but the last one that my eyeballs read were this one called How the World Sees You. It's not so much like a self-discovery kind of book. I want to say it's more of a personal branding book, because it's just like how to use what you already have and know about yourself to make yourself cooler. I don't know, I'm not that far in the book. And you also wanted to know what are my top 3 favorite bloggers right now. I have a really bad answer because I haven't really found any bloggers lately that are really like soul stirring to me. I mean, really, I just read the blogs of my friends and then I move on. So if you have any recommendations, I would highly take them in the fashion personal style realm. Don't give me like some gaming blog or something. And now we've got a hair question from Fanciful Impression. What is your favorite hair dye to use? Do you go to a salon? Have you ever thought about working in the fashion industry besides YouTube? Or do you have another job and simply use YouTube as an outlet? What is your second favorite decade in fashion besides the 80s and 90s? Do you have any thrifting or fashion YouTubers you watch regularly? That was a mouthful. To answer in the shortest amount of words possible, my favorite hair dye at the moment is Punky Colors by Jerome Russell. My hair needs to be re-dyed. It is teal right now. It is not supposed to be teal. It is supposed to be alpine green. When properly applied, this is a beautiful dark green color. Next, I have wanted to work in fashion, but not like directly as like a designer or something. I'd like to do something behind the scenes, more like marketing or helping to build a brand. That's like really fun to me. Second favorite decade for fashion. I like the 1970s or the 1920s because I've always felt a connection to the 1920s. It's just not, it doesn't come through me like the 80s does. But I've always felt like maybe I was a silent actress in a past life. I really just make these assumptions based on my curly hair because sometimes it looks like an 80s perm like it does today, but other days it kind of has like a flapper style. So that's my theory. And favorite YouTubers at the moment, it's kind of the same answer as bloggers. I haven't found anybody lately that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my person. Have you ever tried to lure in the Goblin King by offering him one of the children to babysit? It's crossed my mind, but I figured that the parents would notice that the child was missing and then I wouldn't get paid. More hair questions. Do you know what color you're gonna do next? In a dream world, I want to do blue. Like when Katy Perry dyed her hair for the Smurf movie. That kind of blue. Knock knock, it's me. Ask, how old are you? I am 25. And where do you see yourself in 15 years? I see myself being 15 years older. Ooh, I'll be 40. Pretty Day wants to know, what is the biggest piece of advice you'd give to your 16-year-old self? Well, it's kind of late now because I'm not 16 anymore, so I guess I turned out fine, and I just say don't trust any advice that you get from your 25-year-old self. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Okay, Piranha Jones, 80s men's fashion. Who wore it best? Obviously, it would have to be Hollywood from the movie Mannequin. Never have I ever wanted to dress more like a man than when I first saw Hollywood in that movie. Coop Dizzle! If money wasn't an issue, what's the #1 thing that you would do? I would probably finally get my passport and travel the world. Starting with Texas so that I could come visit you and we could make really hilarious YouTube videos together. Just had a little camera technical difficulty. Let's move on to the next question. V asked me, what is your favorite non-thrifted piece of clothing? That's really hard because almost everything is thrifted, but I went through my closet and I picked out this black and white striped skirt. I got it from ASOS a couple years ago. And if you could live in the universe of any movie, which would it be and why? I actually thought about this a lot and I couldn't think of a movie that I'd want to live in, but I would die to live in Pee-wee's Playhouse. And lastly, a bunch of you ask about being homeschooled. I really don't have a very cool story. I had went to public school, and then when I was in 4th grade, I decided that I wanted to be homeschooled, and it was only because my big brother and sister decided to do it too. So from then on, I just did school from home. In 7th grade, I did join a virtual school. They sent me a computer and all of my books, and I would go online and do school. But then it was like the program wasn't for older kids, so I had to drop out of that. I went back to just being regular homeschooled. I graduated. I did not have a graduation. I refused to have a graduation party. I just find graduation parties to be really awkward. Like, I don't even like attending other people's graduation parties. So, yeah, that's my homeschool experience. I've also got some questions from Instagram. The first one is, what do you think about marriage and parenthood? Would you like to have kids? I would absolutely be thrilled if that happened, so if you know of any good single guys, it's definitely one of my life goals, but I don't want to rush it. You know, if it happens, and I would be very excited if it happens. Speed round. What's your favorite Cyndi Lauper song? Well, besides Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, it would probably be Goonies Are Good Enough. What is your favorite color to wear? Probably red. What is the first movie you remember seeing in a movie theater? I remember when the first Shrek movie came out, my cousin took me to that. But I had to have been like 10 when that movie came out, so I'm sure there was a time before that, but that's like the first like movie theater experience that I remember. Faith, how do I know you? We don't know each other. What's been your favorite hair color so far? Definitely the lavender. And that is all the time I have today to answer questions. I have already killed 3 camera batteries and 2 memory cards, so I should probably wrap this thing up. Sorry if I didn't get to answer your question. I really liked all the questions. Thank you guys very much for asking them. I will definitely do this in the future. If you haven't already, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe. Like, what are you even waiting for? And hopefully I will see you in a future video. Still got my hair on the bookmark.